Gravediggers Union, written by me, drawn by the amazing Toby Cypress. Available on Amazon and at comic shops to order right now, books 1 and 2. And of course, Deadly Class. I'm the artist, Rick Remender is the writer. Books 1 to 12 available at comic shops, bookstores, etc. So yeah, check those out and So, we've been talking about single issues, the art of the single issue. Is it a lost art? Is it a not lost art? I don't know. I find single issues fascinating, so I just been thinking about it quite a bit. Decided to make some of these videos. Another thing that I was thinking about single issues is the anthology. Up front, I would say one of the things about anthologies that I have found currently, it's like there's certain prevailing opinions out there that anthologies don't really sell. People don't, current readers just aren't interested in anthologies. And, it definitely might be true. I'm sure it's based on, research and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that I found out, I'm of a certain generation where I have a love for anthologies. I'm not, I don't come from the time when anthologies were kind of everywhere, in the 50s and the 70s and all that kind of stuff. I think they were much more prevalent, whether it be through metal hurlant, heavy metal, or back in the day in a bunch of different EC Comics kind of anthologies, or what's the name of the one I'm trying to think of? Eerie, all that kind of stuff in the 70s. Anyway, one thing, or in the stuff that I saw when I was growing up was Dark Horse Presents, stuff like that. And one thing I would say about anthologies that I've always, if I'm being perfectly honest, I find there's a lot of kind of filler in anthologies. I don't think that anthologies I don't think they're something that no one can really get into anymore. I do think that over time, people got sick of just getting kind of filler stories in those things. There's maybe one really good story with a really big name, and then you buy it for that big name, hoping that there's a few other stories in there that'll be just as interesting, or maybe you'll discover a new creator or a new kind of idea or story or character in there. And in my experience, at least, I just don't think there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of people that are just kind of doing quick, simple, ideas that are a bit throwaway. And I don't, it's not helping the creators, not helping the anthology, not helping anyone, and leaving a bit of a bad taste in the reader's mouth. And eventually those readers don't want to come back for that stuff. So I don't know exactly what to do about that. It's not like, the editors or the people that are putting the anthologies together can really go to the creator and say, okay, but do what you do, but make sure it's really good. Everyone's doing their best job that they can, of course. But I don't know. I just find if we want these anthologies to succeed, we really have to put I think anthologies can be very cool, can be very fun. We have to put our best foot forward though and make them absolutely something that you put all your effort into and really create a story that you feel can't be missed. I mean, obviously it's easy. As I'm saying it sounds a little bit egotistical, as if, what do you think? You have amazing anthology stories that other people don't, Wes? It's no, I don't. But I just, I think that just the effort you put into your single issues or your whatever, I think that same energy needs to be put into the anthologies, and they can't just be used as a way of throwing away your kind of half-baked ideas. I think these ideas have to be just as strong as any other comic that you create. For if you're just getting a paycheck, then a different story. But if you want these types of formats to do well, then you really gotta do something that's a bit above and beyond what's been done before. And of course, there's tons of examples of that. The main one that stands out to me is there was a bunch of stuff in Dark Horse Presents when I was a kid where they had Frank Miller doing Sin City, they had Mike Mignola doing Hellboy, Art Adams doing Monkey Man and O'Brien, I think it was called, and they were starting up their Legend line. Some incredible comic books in there, just like absolutely amazing. And also they had Paul Chadwick's Concrete. So that's the thing. It's like not everything. I think some of the stories can be completely experimental and wild, but I think there needs to be more than just one main feature that everyone comes for, and everything else is kind of either too experimental or throwaway. I think there needs to be at least two really commercially viable. They can be experimental, they can be wild, they can be whatever, but they need to, I think, attract a big enough audience that it makes the anthology successful. It's like the more commercial stuff kind of allows for the more experimental stuff to exist. That's just the way of commerce in general. It's true of music, movies, etc. All things. There's a certain amount of when the commercial stuff is there, hopefully it allows for more when the commercial stuff is doing well, it allows for more experimentation in general from other things. Allows for other creators to do the more experimental stuff if the commercial stuff is firing. So talking about these anthologies, I think clearly in Japan, Shonen Jump does really well. That's an anthology where also, again, making the single issues special. I don't think that all of these stories need to be collected. It's like some of them, I think there should be just a focus on collecting the stuff that does really well, either commercially or critically. Doesn't always have to be on the commercial side of things. I think that if something is really universally praised as something new and original, I think you should collect that. I think if something is really just beloved by the fans, I think you should collect that too, obviously. But I don't think you need to collect every single story that appears in there, which to me creates that feeling that I'm kind of looking for in single issues, where it's like you need to tune in, you need to come to the shop for the single issues, because it's not, maybe there's a bit of a shift in the way that we think about these things, where not every single thing that you read in single issues is going to get collected. I know that's probably not a popular opinion for creators. All the creators obviously want all of their things to be collected, but maybe eventually all the things can be collected, but maybe it's not right away, it's not immediate, and that creates hopefully a feeling one way or the other that you have to show up to the shop and read these things and buy the single issues, because you don't know for sure. There might be your favorite thing you've ever read might be in there, but it's like maybe there's no upfront guarantee that all of these things will be in a trade paperback that you can wait on. So you got to get those single issues. That's, I guess some of these ideas maybe are a little bit commercial or crass or whatever, but it's something to think about. I don't know. Some of the ideas that I'm offering here, some of them might work, some of them might not work, but this is really just a place for me to kind of spitball ideas. And even for myself, as I'm talking through some of these ideas, I go, okay, well, maybe that sounds like that might work. Maybe I'll give that a try. Other things, as I'm talking it through, I go, you know what, maybe that's not the best idea. And I'd like to hear other people's opinions, whether they be fellow creators or fans or retailers or just pop culture enthusiasts, or whatever it may be. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, what you're looking for in single issues if you're a comic book reader. I think that would be fascinating, because I'm always kind of in my own head about this stuff, and I'd like to hear, you know, other opinions and just see what the rest of the world thinks of this kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's it for now. Thanks. Bye. So, Thunderhead, superheroes on acid. That's all you really need to know about it. It's me and Kevin Castanero making some comic book magic, and it is on Kickstarter starting in at the end of July and going all the way through August. So we've got just amazing art, some amazing covers from the my buds at Lethal Comic Books, Carl Kerschel, Andy Belanger. I'm doing a cover, Kevin's doing a cover. I am doing flashback. I'm writing the series and doing some flashback stuff. Kevin is doing the bulk of the amazing artwork that you got to check out. With every issue, like with every issue, there will be, what do we got? We got a free sketchbook, we got a free poster, free stickers, along with the actual oversized comic book that you'll get. So yeah, on Kickstarter, check it out. Thanks for listening.